The format, usually we usually have speakers, and maybe some lame shit, so we're not on speaker anymore. But I actually like this way better.
It was some lame shit. Okay. Good. All right. Hey, you all. I guess I already pressed that button.
Hello, hello, hello.
I was going live while I was screwing around. That's the best thing about this show. Sliding around your damn thing. There we go. I'll just okay, so over here, I see me, I see you. Microphone's down here, so it should be good.
All right, all right.
Oh, that's better. Now, where's Poppa Capp? There he is. I got you. Kind of low tech. All right. Widdershins, radio for your spiritual side, a twisted approach to the left-hand path, and all the paths in between. And we are in the midst of our WitchCon marathon. We are trying to interview everyone we can that's at WitchCon. That's 96 people. So we're not even going to scratch the surface, but it takes days. So we got today's broadcast. Tomorrow we have 2. I'm not sure what we have coming up. Yes. Yes. We got
Mato,
who I know as Poppa Capp, who lives here. So we get to have everybody on camera, not in little boxes and stuff. Looks like I can see it pretty well. Of course, everybody's wearing black and it's dark out, but the lights are, illuminating our faces and stuff. So act like we don't know each other and tell me about yourself.
Sure. Well, my name is Mato. I'm known by Poppa Capp across social media and a few other venues and all that good stuff. I've been in the occult for a long time. I was a member of the OTO. I was a Rosicrucian.
Right.
I was in a Buddhist monastery for 2 years, which I consider a cult, even though it's not really. and ended up as an Alexandrian priest. And that's my home now here in New Orleans, in the New Orleans Coven, with Brian Kane, Christian Day, Ellie Barnes, Levi Rowland, some other people you guys might know off the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, doing my thing. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's great tricks.
Yeah.
A lot of things in there. And you work at Hex or Omen?
I'm a reader. I mean, I switch back and forth, mostly at Omen. Yeah.
So you can come get readings from Poppa Capp.
You can find my products in some stores across the U.S.
What kind of stuff you make?
We do baths. What else do we make? We do our own candles. We designed our own candles. We have shirts. We do like for spell work and all that good stuff. We do candle dressing blends that can also be used as incense, and soon to be like teas and smokes, and a few other things, stuff like that. Consumables, yeah.
Well, when people say spiritual bath, it means different things. You talk about
So,
in the bath or something over you.
You could do both. You could make it as a tea, or on your stove, heat it up, whatever, then pour it over you in your shower. But they're mostly for like salt baths. Salt baths with herbs in them, roots in them. We put some special things in it, like powders and all that good stuff. And yeah, mostly for bathing.
Well, damn, I'm pretty sure you're the first OTO person we've had on the show.
Not anymore.
Tell people, we're on TikTok over here, so the baby witches don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hello.
What's the OTO?
Sure. OTO is one of the descendant branches from old members of the Golden Dawn. The OTO, it actually didn't originate from Aleister Crowley, but he's the guy who took it over, and it became what we know today as Thelema, which is the religious order that came out of that. It stands for Ordo Templi Orientis, and it's one of the surviving branches of old members of the Golden Dawn today, and the only one that became a religion, I'd say.
Now, over here on TikTok, they're obsessed with cultural appropriation, and I've been saying that Gerald Gardner appropriated all this stuff for Wicca. I've done several videos. Other people have done several videos asking for receipts. Nobody seems to have them. But the OTO translates to Temple of the Orient.
Yes.
So
yes.
Maybe go over there. Doing all this Egyptian stuff. But,
yeah.
But one of the things I said to people, Gardner reviving dead pagan cultures is not appropriation.
I agree. I agree.
He brought those back to life. Most of them dead fucking cultures. So
Yeah.
it's an argument they like to have a lot, but
like TikTok world,
especially in TikTok world, I hear that more. Tarot is a closed practice. Lilith, can't work with Lilith.
Yeah, that's what
the
I will
crossroads
say to the TikTok generation is that's just not how it works. All of the elders, like, it was never appropriating. We all respected all of the cultures. We all explored the gods and goddesses of all cultures. However, it seemed fit. In Alexandrian craft, Gardnerian craft, we do have a specific god and goddess that has names and all that good stuff. But it's just not how it worked. I mean, there's a video out there of Alexander's that was invoking an Aztec fire god who he never named. But I mean, there's all kinds of stuff all over the place, and that was something that was honored, and we still honor today. We're not seeing it that way. No initiate's seeing it that way.
Well, like I always tell these kids, gods don't recognize borders. You can't do that. You can't limit them. You can't put them in a box where they can go, where they can't go, who can work with them. It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
But Poppa Capp here. I'm just going to call you that because I'm going to struggle all night. I remember the first time we had Hoodoo Semois on. I butchered it for half the show, and finally, I'm one of the only people that could say his name right. God, God, where's it going to go? Oh, we're in New Orleans. So all that shit y'all bitching about, or I'm directing my comments over here to TikTok because that's really where that happens. We don't play that shit. It ain't that kind of party here in New Orleans. Everything thrown in a blender, turned on, everybody gets along, man. You got fucking voodoos work with the hoodoos and the witches and everybody's. It's not like American Horror Story where we're at war with the voodoo people or anything fucking like that. Everybody just doesn't say that shit. The 2 times I've ever heard the words cultural appropriation in New Orleans, they came out of my mouth, and the person on the other end looked at me like, "What the hell are you talking about? What?" They did not know what the fuck I was talking about. So did you do WitchCon last year?
I did. Yeah.
Did you do it the year before?
I did not. No.
Okay. How about Hexfest?
Yeah, I did Hexfest last year.
Remember you did Hexfest.
Doing it again this coming year. Last year, I think that, not that I'm trying to sound like a pretentious asshole or anything, but I think last year I was a little bit over people's heads because I did ceremonial magic, which for all you guys who don't know is old school grimoire magic where you're like full blown setting up a circle and you're doing invocations, very specific strings of text. You're raising energy in very specific ways and all that good stuff. Especially because I'm one of the, I guess, orthodox people in that. I don't condone the whole like set up a pentacle somewhere, set up a name of a demon or whatever you want to do, and then just go for it. I think that's why people are losing their minds and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening to them. If you don't do it the right way, it's not going to work out for you. So I was teaching it in a very orthodox way where you have to go by the book. And I had someone tell me in my class last year that he's going to stick to his crystals. So, so this year I'm doing herbal magic and how to connect with those spirits in hopes that I reach an audience that's relevant to my products and that's more accessible to people.
That seems easier to teach than ceremonial magic in a workshop setting.
Yeah. I was just going for it, man.
I don't think well, we still have access to last year's. I'm going to go watch that one. For those of you that don't know, I'll read the full plug later, but WitchCon's an online festival, largest witch and pagan or magical festival pretty much ever. And this will be the 3rd year. It started during COVID. And it's a digital festival, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can watch it forever. That's always a good thing. It's like when we came here in 2019 to do Hexfest, and never been here before, and all of a sudden, and we didn't have our kid for once. All of a sudden, we were night people. We're out to like 4 in the morning at potions and shit, and it's like. All my friends would have morning workshops. Like I didn't see see anybody's fucking workshop at all. And even last year, I had 3 workshops and a panel, and we caught Sean's workshop. That's the only other workshop that we saw.
Yeah.
But WitchCon, you can watch it forever. You will not miss anybody's workshop. And sometimes that's a problem. There's, two people you want to see and they're on this at the same time. It can be a pain in the ass. Looking over here at TikTok, looking forward to WitchCon. Labola. Oh yeah, you're going to be there for damn sure. You better. I know Solomon Magic, not a fan. Okay, well,
Not a fan of you.
over at gumroad.com/witch school, WITCHSKEWL, in the first month, I think, we're looking at Solomon, because you have to. It is the origins of a lot of things that y'all are practicing, whether you want to look at it or not. Which has been borrowing from ceremonial magic since the reformation of witchcraft. And I heard it said, I wasn't around then. Well, I guess I was a baby. The 1974 Minneapolis witch meet, they came up with the principles of Wiccan belief, which took days for them to agree on anything. It was the only time an American Council of Witches ever worked. And even then, it barely worked. But they had all these witches from all these different traditions, with all of this, the books of shadows and everything. Everybody's talking about in every working, you need a ritual circle for this. You need a ritual circle for that. You need one for this. You need one for that. In none of their data did anybody have a ritual circle. So we borrowed it from the LBRP, Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. When I was a kid, that's how we cast circle. I still do a variation on that to this day because I want my kids to start with the oldest possible version of that because they're going to change it. And if they start with, archaic Solomon shit and they change it, it's still going to be closer to the original source. So I'm sorry you're not a fan, but it is rather unavoidable. You can't wear the pentagram anymore. You can't wear the hexagram anymore. Septagram, can't do that anymore. A lot of shit that you are doing now, well, you can't do because you'd be appropriating that from Solomon and you don't like him. So, not giving you shade. I just, it was the one comment I fucking read over here. Got a lot of people in this show. It's always different when we do it later at night, I gotta say. So you practice many things. Alexandrian witchcraft. You got what's your rank?
I'm an initiate. So initiation Alexandrian craft is priesthood. So I'd call myself a priest. I'm a first degree. You're either a first degree or you're a high priest, which is third degree. In Alexandrian craft, we give second and third at the same time, which is one of the differentiating factors between Gardnerian and Alexandrian craft. Gardnerians split their second and third, and we don't. So I'm first degree. I would say I'm pretty. What do I say? I'm doing well, is what I will say without saying too many words, because oaths and things.
And they, I totally can't believe we spaced it. But they started doing public rituals.
We did,
and we missed the last one, and saw everybody at Potions having a good time. We're just like sitting there, God, we're just too stoned to go anywhere right now.
It's all good.
Especially all the way down to Potions. We went. I actually put my face on TikTok after this happened because I've got balls. But there was one time we were supposed to meet Christian and Brian after your temple night. They said they'd be there around 7 or something like that. We got there at 5 because we're always early. They showed up about 9, and the only IPA that they have at Potions is a double, almost triple IPA, Ghost in the Machine. And I remember one of the first things I heard Christian say when he showed up over to Brian, he's fucked up. and that night, I'm usually, keeping Marta afloat and holding her up. I managed to do a face plant on Bourbon Street, and she didn't go down. And my face was just gnarled, big cuts on my nose, asphalt stuck in my face. And going, my God, I just did a tourist move on fucking Bourbon Street. Everybody saw it. So I think that's the only time I've been that fucked up, even when we stayed out till 4 a.m.
You made it through, though. Your face is all right.
You made it home okay? Nobody got hurt, except for you.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, in our tradition, teacher's second degree. So high priest is fourth, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different than most traditions.
Mhm. I've been in 10-degree systems, you know, the 3-degree systems like Gardnerian and Alexandrian craft, and well, that's it. Now that I think about it, but yeah, you know, different systems have different degree things. Funny enough, teacher is second degree for us too. If you get your second, then you can teach. So
Okay.
yeah, or at least that's the whole point, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying that all of them can, but you know, it's supposed to be that way.
How
What?
long have you been Alexandrian?
Year and a half now.
Okay.
Yeah, just about a year and a half, probably a little bit less, but almost there. Yeah. And yeah, going well. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I love it. It's home. You know, there's some things in the OTO and Rosicrucian and other things that I've done that didn't quite mesh well. Hence why I didn't end up doing it. But this feels great. So yeah.
So for you in the comments, don't start praying for us, okay?
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
Johnny? Is that Johnny?
It's not Johnny.
Oh,
It was somebody else.
Johnny.
Jesus Christ may be Lord, but if he existed, he was one of us and he wasn't one of you. Okay?
That's true.
So what's known of him is he was an Essene. They were pagan. Jews were pagan back then as well.
That's true.
The Essenes had a god and a goddess, and they practiced magic and herbal healing, that kind of thing. And guess what? I could turn water into wine. Just take a month or so. And a little bit of yeast, some grapes, let it ferment. Not a fucking miracle. All right. So
I've watched you do it.
hustle up. That's right. Make it mead. I'll make mead.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll turn honey into wine. That one I don't even need the yeast. So I know over here on TikTok again, they know of Gardnerian witchcraft because they say all that stuff, but they probably don't know much about Alexandrian witchcraft.
Sure.
I'm guessing. Can you tell them a little bit, or maybe the differences or similarities?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say Gardnerians and Alexandrians are cousins. Alexanders and Maxine Sanders are the progenitors of our line. Alex was associated with all of the Gardnerians back in the day and broke off and did his own thing. Some people, especially some of the older, like the elders of the craft, would call Alex a heretic. Right. So for a long time, and even today, a lot of Alexandrians are considered the, kind of the heretic line, if you will. But now the two, in my humble opinion, the only true are those bats?
Yeah, those are the bats. They come out right about this time every night.
Very cool.
I'm not sure where they are or where they come from, but I love that.
Yeah, it's very cool. I consider Gardnerians and Alexandrians the only true initiatory paths within the craft. At least if you're looking at it from, I guess you could say, an orthodox point of view. There are other lines, there are other traditions, there are other things like that. But Gardnerian and Alexandrians are the way to go in terms of traditional British witchcraft. So differences. We're much more free. That's kind of a tough topic to talk about because of oaths. But what I will say is we don't require a lot of things that Gardnerians do that make it less willful. Gardnerians have a lot of control over things in a negative way, in my opinion.
Like what kind of things?
What you can and can't do in a circle, and who gets to do certain things. Again, I'm trying to watch my words here, but but things that I think that there's not a lot of leeway for their initiates to do things in circle where there should be. Like you can't really learn spell casting or working in a traditional initiatory group if you're not actually in there doing things, is what I will say. And I think Gardnerians don't give that power to a lot of their people. We work a lot more with Kabbalah and ceremonial things. Alex was very liberal in his mix of what was going on in crafts and with other types of magic, and that became Alexandrians are known for being occultists and witches, right? Which that's a big difference between us and Gardnerians. I would say they a lot of groups in Gardnerian craft won't allow their people to really explore Kabbalah in a high manner, and especially won't bring it into any kind of magical conversation. Like those things are separate. For us, we're exploring the occult either way. I think that there's a lot more power in Alexandrian crafts, and the people are prettier.
Well, especially for the new kids, I have a different read on history. British traditional witchcrafts, with both of those we're talking about, was very big across the pond, but the origins of American craft, that wasn't it. It was neo-paganism. Neo-paganism rose at the same time those traditions were rising in England, and as such, we developed a very different flavor. I mean, it was like the hippies and the mud people.
Sure.
I mean, the people that rolled around at Woodstock in the mud. That was like a religion for people. They worshipped the earth, so they rolled around in the mud. So you get very different things. So like that Minneapolis witch meet in 1974, they came up with very different ideas over here. So I see that everything gets a different flavor when it comes through that, when it comes over here to America. And most of my life, I never met an Alexandrian.
Sure.
I met plenty of Gardnerians and variations of that, but never, here it's really big. Salem seems really big too, but my whole craft life, man, I never fucking met an Alexandrian. And actually, I kind of had an issue, and I think a lot of people did. I walk into my local occult one day, and I'm going to give him props for being the first person to try and trap remotely. Alex Sanders had a series of tapes. There's about 50 of them, cassette tapes. Google it. And it was like basically a Wicca 101 course. And it was called Alex Sanders, King of the Witches. Now, in their tradition, that is a rank, witch king. But to the Americans, when that was said, this thing sat on the shelf and collected. It's probably still there. It just never sold. Nobody wanted to touch that because everybody was so offended. It's like, we don't have a king. It's like, if you call it King of some witches, it would have been fine. the idea of the witches just rubbed the Americans the wrong way. As I never listened to it. I don't know if it was good, but I give him props. The first time I ever saw anybody try and teach witchcraft in that way, and I don't even know if that would be traditionally appropriate for Alexandrian witchcraft, but he's the head of it, so he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants.
It's true.
Kind of like my tradition. I get to do whatever the fuck I want because I'm the last one of us alive.
I think that now, of course, I'm not speaking for every Alexandrian, but I would say that none of us would claim King of the Witches anymore, even if we met the requirements for that, which is having off several covens. But none of us would claim that anymore. There was only one king, which was Alex, and one queen who is still alive, Great Maxine Sanders. But none of us would claim those things anymore. No. Yeah.
So yeah, Alex Sanders no longer with us.
Yes, Alex.
Because you guys didn't know. Who's your guest? Please introduce him. I call him Poppa Capp. He's going to say his other name.
My name is Mato Watakpe.
See, I'm drinking. I don't want to fuck that up.
It's all good.
It's not a messed up teeth and the drinking. I'm just going to butcher that all day long. Yes, that's our guest. Let me see what I got the things so far away. What's your thoughts on Thelema, Crowley? I don't hear many positive things whenever he's mentioned.
Sure. You want me to take that?
Yeah. You're the guest.
Yeah.
I'm talking all the fucking time.
That's fair. That's fair, man. Crowley was an incredibly important figure in the occult. He was crazy.
The occult will do that to you.
Yeah, right. If you actually look at a lot of their lives, most of them do die insane or in poverty or something. Or of cancer. Cancer's a big one for some reason. So I think that what he did, the thing is that I consider progenitors of religions and such to be very important. So if you look at what's left, right, there's a whole order, thousands and thousands of people who follow his religion. Same with Alexander's and Maxine. Same with Gerald Gardner, and some other names out there. But I'm just throwing the ones, that are relevant to this conversation for now. There's others out there for sure. he did that. You know, the OTO is thriving. You know, the Telema is thriving. His books of the occult were extremely influential. You know, you can read 777, you can read the Book of the Law, you can read all these things that are heavily influenced books that come out today from really small, really important occult publishers like Anathema Publishing and Black Letter Press, and like these really small people who are continuing to develop ceremonial practice. Still heavily influenced by Crowley. He's his importance is not arguable. It's just, it is what it is, you know, good or bad, however you want to take that. He's forever going to be in the history of the occult in a very important and powerful way.
Well, we now know, we have receipts, they're out there on the internet, that Gerald Gardner got a charter from the OTO, signed by Aleister Crowley. In my day, I think it was 2001, we had a guy whose job at our shop was just to peruse the internet and find lost occult shit, print it up, and put it in our reference library in the shop. One day, some malcontent on the internet released Gerald Gardner's Book of Shadows. I remember reading that with great interest, because now we have a Gerald Gardner's Book of Shadows. That ain't what I saw. That ain't what I saw. And that ain't a Book of Shadows, okay? This Book of Shadows had liner notes all over the fucking place, arrows pointing to other, you know, moving sentences around with arrows, because nobody had a cut and paste back then, or copy and paste or any of that shit. And definitely some ideas he got from Crowley. I've not seen that book again, but that one really looked like a Book of Shadows. This other thing looked, you know, polished. You know, it's like if I was going to polish up a Book of Shadows and publish it, that's what it would look like. But that thing looked like my messy fucking Book of Shadows. I got to, like, you know, my Book of Shadows, like, you know, continued on page 34 because I went on to another train of thought after this. And that made a lot of sense to me. I got to tell my Crowley story. Do you have anything more to say about Crowley?
No.
Okay.
I think that was
This is my favorite one. This guy goes to Crowley. He wants the secret, I believe it's the Philosopher's Stone. He wants the secret of turning lead into gold. And this is, you know, 1920s or something like that. So you might have to, you know, look up how pencils worked. Hands the guy a pencil. Says, I want you to write me every 2 weeks with this. And I want you to include a check for $200. At the end of a year and a day, I'll give you the secret. Now, $200 in 1920s, you know, a couple times a month, that's a lot of fucking money. So guy does it. You know, he writes his letters. He sends them to Crowley, sends him the money. At the end of a year and a day, he receives a letter back from Crowley, which only said, do as I have done. That's a good way to fucking drive a lesson home. I'll give him that.
absolutely.
Let's see. So
He did a lot.
Lima, I'm gonna look over here and see. Thank you for following. Yes, my book looks the same. Yes, I always recommend for the new witches, starting your Book of Shadows, have something where you can take pages out and put pages in and rearrange pages. You know, the three-ring binder that I first started with was the best thing. But then when I started writing in a book where I couldn't move shit around, it gets very confusing and disorganized. Ooh, thanks for sending us a cake. That equals money. Ooh, fire. We got some fire. We got some cake. We got a cake on fire. All right. Well, thank you. That'll add up to like 3 cents right there. Shit. No, and a rose. Fuck, man. TikTok. You guys are giving us nothing over here, but TikTok people, they're giving it. You have any questions?
Well, I just wanted you to talk a little more about
Marta's
your
off
class.
camera.
Sure.
I read a little bit about it, you know, before we started talking to you, and I am a full supporter of having a relationship with your plants before you work for them. So I thought it was great when I saw that. But if you could maybe elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that people want to jump in and start having things work for them without doing anything with the plant or whatever else they're working with. In this case, we'll just talk about plants because that's what the class is about. But that's true for anything, right? They put up a statue on their altar and they're like, "What can you do for me, God?" Or or goddess, whatever it is. And they don't build any kind of relationship. So the same goes with plant spirits. You should have a connection with what you're working with, like, period. That's just it is what it is. There's good ways to develop that. I'm in my class. I'm doing it in two ways. One, intellectually, which I think there are three big ways that people can connect with plant spirits intellectually. One is through magical knowledge that you can find throughout books and experience. Another is culinary. I think that there's a lot of culinary knowledge that goes directly into magical thought about these spirits and what they're doing. And the third is medicinal. If you can figure out what they do for you medicinally, you also get to know that character, that spirit, a lot more. So there's intellectual connection you can make. And then I'm going to go in my class, I'm going to describe how to connect with plants elementally. I think it's a great way for people to get into it, especially if they've never done it before. So for instance, if you want to connect with the plant from an earth perspective, you would grow it, you would eat it, you would meditate with it. That's kind of a harder one where you have to have some kind of visualization ability, which most of us do. And if you don't, there are ways to develop that, which you can read books about. But you can even meditate with a plant in your hand and end up having some kind of visual experience where you would understand that character a little bit more. You can bathe with it, right? You can to bring it in from a waterway. You can drink it in a tea, and you'll have more experience with this plant. And you'll start to learn a lot of things about it.
I like, as long as I know it's not poisonous, I like to
Yes.
eat it and see.
Eat it, yeah. Put it in your mouth.
bitter?
Drink it.
Is
Yes,
sweet?
yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
Is it kind of, energetically hot?
Yes.
And then it'll tell you a lot about the plant.
Yeah, every plant will do something to you. Yeah, exactly. When you drink it, when you eat it, your body will change. Your mind will change. And those things give you information about the character of the spirit. If you're looking at this from a true magical perspective, everything is a spirit. We're spirits. This table is a spirit. The plants have spirits, all those kinds of things. And you should look at how you interact with these things in a spiritual way. So, as you're saying, these effects you're having, those things have to do with the character of the plant. And what it will do magically in your spells are related to these experiences you're having. Fire, you can smoke it. You can burn it as incense and breathe it in. Those kinds of things. Again, please, I want to preface everything I'm saying. There are poisonous plants.
Check with your doctor
please read about the plant. Gather information first. You don't want to inhale some of these things. You don't want to eat some of these things. I'm leaving it on you, wise people across the internet, to figure that out on your own. But no liability here. For air is very similar to fire, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Again, you have to smoke it, you have to burn it as incense to kind of take those things in. If you look at it from a gendered point of view, air and fire are masculine, which kind of makes sense why they go together. And of course, water and earth are feminine. So if you're growing something, it's taking water, right? And you're connecting with the feminine aspect of a plant. If you're breathing it in, burning it, you're connecting with the masculine aspect of a plant, right? So you should think about those things as well. But yeah, that's my plan, is how to connect with these spirits, how to really gain a relationship with them in both an intellectual and experiential manner. So that's the class.
Okay, as an old fart, I'm going to tell you,
Sure.
I'm going to tell you, kids, write the word down, okay? Almost everything he just said is wort cunning. W-O-R-T, cunning. This is a very old practice. The ingesting, the communing with the plants, the elemental ideas. But if you taught a class called wort cunning, nobody would show up because they don't know what it is.
Right.
I don't want warts.
Well, yeah, back in my day, I don't want to give Cunningham too much credit, but he was writing the first herbal magic books that we had access to. And what we had before that, we had coffee table books on herbs, mostly talking about the medicinal. And always over in the liner would be the history and lore. And that's where you get like the mystical portions. That's where they drew a lot of those ideas, but also based on what the plant did medicinally. It does something similar magically to what it does medicinally. And that's how those books were formulated. And then most people just copied Cunningham, or actually the source that Cunningham drew his from. Even Cat Ironwood was said to be stealing Cunningham's work. It's like, no, there was one fucking source that available, and they both drew off of it. So their books are very damn similar. But she covers the baneful herbs, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
Basically. Ooh, energy around you all is awesome. Who is that doctor? God, my old eyes. Well, thank you. Stars. You can see the stars? Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you can't see the rest of it. Our disaster area here, we had a ginger plant jungle that died in the...
Two of them.
Two of them that
It happens
died
every
during the
year.
frost.
They always come back.
And
but
now we can see the
destroyed.
neighbors and they can see us.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. But let's see. Any people asking questions over here? Why people? Okay, I'm not missing anything over there. Hello, Vicky. Over there on the other one. Eventually, I'll just integrate TikTok and all these into that one and not have to be looking back and forth. We're talking to Poppa Capp, who also goes by the name
Mato Watakpe, yeah. So I would go by Poppa Capp everywhere, except Llewellyn would not do that. So in all the where I have passages in Llewellyn, they use my real name, which is Mato Watakpe.
So wait,
And,
you have a book?
I don't have a book. I have passages in some Llewellyn books.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, it doesn't really matter, but why don't they like Poppa Capp?
I think that a lot of people see it as degenerate because
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why, that's why I accepted your friend
it
request.
is-
I
right,
wasn't even really sure who you were, but I'm going, I like that name.
right. I grew up. What I will say is, I had a weird life, and it is a reference to a few things. You guys can take your pick. But originally, it's actually a mushroom reference, talking about eating caps. Yeah, and also I've always worn hats since I was a small kid, so there's that. Yeah. And there's a few obvious other ones as well. But yeah, I think a lot of people are very resistant to it, which I kind of got stuck with it, to be honest with you. I mean, it is my own creation, but I ended up branding everything that I'm doing with it. And now it's just like who I am. And everyone knows me that way. All my clients, from my social medias, they all call me that. And there's a lot of people that don't even know my name. So it is what it is.
Christian Day called me Michael Carell on TikTok today. I'm sure most kids go, who?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think it says it under my name, or on my original account did. But let's read the thing. All right, kids. We're talking about WitchCon. Bring the magic to you. March 3rd to the 5th, 2023. Join the world's largest live stream magical conference, featuring nearly 100 witches and conjurers on live stream video from across the globe. WitchCon online presenters are the preeminent masters of the magical arts and hail from across the rainbow spectrum of the occult and spiritual practices. Registration is limited to 1,000 attendees and includes all video classes, rituals, and performances, as well as access to recordings of every class after the event has ended via our on-demand library, so you won't miss a single magical moment. Now, did you hear that part, kids? I always tell you this every 1,000 attendees. It's next month. If you want to go, you better fucking get over there and secure your spot. $95 for at least 96 witches. I'm not sure who.
You get to keep it.
Then you get to keep it forever. It's like you kids don't want to read anymore, and you don't want to write anything anymore. It could be your digital book of shadows. You go there. Go to witchcon.com. Click on the presenters, because I don't have enough breath to read through all those motherfuckers. And tell me I'm wrong. Tell me, just look at the fucking names there, kids. It's big name fucking people that we're on the same stage with. Always blows me away. Attendees and fans will love our live shopping at the virtual Vendorium, featuring powerful ritual tools, signed books, exquisite jewelry, and handmade spellcrafts. Our virtual meet and greet. This is where the real party happens, kids. Virtual meet and greet lets attendees and fans alike chat with presenters live on Zoom It's a great way to get to know your favorite teachers and see them getting really fucked up. WitchCon Online is live streamed on Hex Education Network on Crowdcast, a web-based platform with no need to download an app. I've never seen the registration thing pop up when I'm doing this. Check out. I might still have my VPN on. That's probably what it is. WitchCon. WitchCon.com, man. It's coming up soon. I can't even tell you all of the people that we're going to interview, but we got 2 more tomorrow. And
It's in a couple weeks.
yeah, and then we have a couple
Yeah,
more
it's coming up.
scheduled. I don't even remember all the scheduled, but if you're on Facebook, follow Widdershins on Facebook. I'll be announcing it over here on TikTok as well. Follow Uncle Birch on YouTube. If you're on TikTok watching the live broadcast and you missed something or you jumped in late, get over there to YouTube. It'll be there forever. If you're on TikTok, as soon as I hit that little button, poof, it's gone. Never on TikTok again. We're here with Poppa Capp, talking about stuff. What the hell are we going to talk about now? What you got? Got anything?
No, don't put me on the spot.
I'm already on the spot. You're over there off camera. Let's see. I'm looking at the things. Lori Brundage. Hey, Lori, how are you? Is Mediflower legal there? Medical is, yes. The other kind is decriminalized.
What, in New Orleans?
Yeah, in New Orleans. Funny thing, for a town with more psychics, I mean, if you throw a rock in the French Quarter, you're going to hit a psychic. Either in a shop or on the street, fucking everywhere. You know what's more illegal than flour? Mugwort. Mugwort is more illegal here.
I was reading if it grows here, and then I got all this information about how it's a banned substance.
Oh,
And I thought maybe it's an
I'm going to
invasive
jail.
species.
we have a
but-
lot in our house.
No.
Oh, sorry, I don't have
No,
mugwort. I've never heard of the
no.
thing.
No mugwort around here, man. But yeah, and apparently it's because of the psychotropic effects of mugwort. It's not that it's an invasive species or anything like that. It's like I never really got high off of it, but I did used to, like when I rolled cigarettes and somebody came in for a reading, I'd roll some mugwort up in my cigarette, smoke
Great
it.
psychic
And,
nerve.
yeah, it'd be great reading every time.
But I don't even know if that's why it's illegal here. I think it's more because it's invasive.
I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
It's because it's like you can get high off it. They think. I don't think you can. It's like if you smoke mugwort, you're gonna sweat. If you're freezing to death, smoke mugwort. It might save your life. Okay, it really raises your body temperature. Lady Silverwings, hello. How about lime curing men's vinegar? How about lime curing men's vinegar attitude? You know that spell? I don't know that spell.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tag me on that one.
Using lime to cure men's attitude.
Oh,
I guess they're vinegar, maybe lime and vinegar.
Lime and vinegar.
Rephrase that, maybe. I've tried banana peels and puffed it. Oh yeah, the mellow yellow. Heard of it? Never tried it. I'm surprised. I tried everything. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. What? Oh, mellow yellow. Yes. God, I need a bigger phone. I need an iPad or something. Hi, Mojo. Dogs are over here making friends. Hello, all you people join in. Follow if you're not following. Tap the screen to like it. It brings more people here. Share it if you can share it. We're on YouTube, a couple Facebook pages, and TikTok right now that I know of. Who knows where the hell we are? We're talking to Poppa Capp, who's going to be at WitchCon, and Mojo's distracting me over here, of course.
So
Thank you
I
for
wanted to
sharing
ask,
the live.
How long have you been practicing, just in general?
just all occult things. I think that I really began my experiential knowledge, which I think is the real point of contact for people, like it's not just like reading books forever until you actually do something. Was about 14. That's because I got really. I'm a very intellectual person, so I was reading and reading and reading, and I wanted to actually do something. So I started picking up herbs, and I grew up in a Mexican and like Native American house because my mom's Mexican, Native American. So we had statues. He's Catholic, so there's Mary statues and incense burning and candles and things like that. So it wasn't foreign to me. So I started picking things up from my own ideas. Of course, they were very different from my mother's, but because I was studying philosophy and religion and those kinds of things at that age, because I didn't know what to do with myself. I was a very lost kid, but that's where that started. Just with like experimenting, and I think that's where most of you, the TikTok people, like. What I will say to all of you is you're not going to hurt yourselves. Get out there, burn some herbs, burn some candles, do whatever you're going to do, cast some spells. Like, unless you're doing something really intensive, like setting up, some kind of nameplate to an entity you have no idea about or something like that.
And avoid poisonous plants.
Right? Yeah, poisonous plants are a bad idea too. Yeah, do your research. You're probably not going to hurt yourself. Like, it's worth it for you to get out there and get your hands on things and do things.
Yeah, fuck around, find out.
Yeah.
Find out. Okay, lime helps cure men's vinegary attitude, because men are like pickles. Hold on, where is that?
You're not wrong.
Men are like pickles. Lime makes men loyal. Yeah, that's never come up. Yeah, I've definitely done that kind of spell before. But that's never come up. Oh, the stuff we learn on TikTok might be true. I don't know.
Limes are a souring agent in hoodoo work, but I'm not going to talk on hoodoo because I'm not someone who practices hoodoo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they'll get all up.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But
I do.
I just don't want to engage.
Yeah.
But not that I'm blaming you for doing that. I just don't care enough. Like I don't. You guys can do whatever. What I would say is experiment with a lime, and tell me what it does for you. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is better, rather than saying it's going to do this and that, and connect with the plant spirit is what I'm trying to say.
But that's what a lot of kids don't realize. Like I'll teach you what works for me. Might not work for you. Mm-hmm. Where you are, you can't do exactly what I did and have it work for you. You've got to tweak it to your personal circumstances. You have to experiment. You have to research. You have to notes. Take notes. Do your spell. Wait 3 months. Look at what you did. See how it worked out. By 3 months, there should be a reaction to your action. Maybe not how you plan. So then you tweak it a bit. You do it again. It's work. I know you don't like work. What do you read tarot, or what do you do when you're doing your psychic work?
I do. I think that what I will say is there's a differentiation between tarot readers, and that differentiation is psychic ability. Right? There's some people who just have card knowledge and who are going to throw that at you, and that's all you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And then there's people who are going to take a glance at their cards and just say whatever's popping into their head or however their psychic ability manifests. And it's going to have very little to do with the cards. I'm the second one. I use the cards to structure my readings. Mm-hmm. They'll help me target certain things. For instance, I'll see Knight of Pentacles, so I know it's about some hardworking man in your life, right? So I'll say, oh, this guy's doing this, and the client will be like, oh my God, how did you know? Or whatever. But the idea is to actually develop your psychic ability and not just use your card knowledge, right? So my answer to your question is I'm a psychic reader, and I use tarot as a tool.
Absolutely. I always say that the way I teach tarot, take out the little book, flip through about 20 minutes. Spend 20 minutes flipping through the book. Hold it in front of you. Set it on fire. Put it in a safe vessel where it can continue to burn. If you want to read tarot off the book, download the app. They have an app for that. It'll give you the exact, standard meaning for each card or the reverse card. It's like the cards must talk to you. There's a thing I learned. It's a game in the Renaissance Fair back in the 80s that I saw these kids playing. And I always view everything as, how can I use that to teach witchcraft? Or how can I use that to teach tarot? And they called it the never-ending story. They had a tarot deck. They shuffled them, and they dished out, each person had a hand of cards. It was like they were playing poker or something. First person puts down a card. Based on the imagery in that card, they start a story. Next person goes through there, figure out what card's going to work for that story, and then put it down next to it and continue the story. On and on. You end up with subplots and side plots and all over the fucking place. But I'm looking at it. I'm watching these kids play this game, and I'm going, God, that's teaching you to see other imagery within the cards. And there have been times when I've done a reading and that card will today mean something that came up while playing the game. Not what's in the book, none of that. Your cards have to live. They have to have their own language. You can't read other people's cards. Definitely not my cards. And because like Papa said, your reading is probably not going to have anything to do with those cards. I'm using those cards as visual props to, help you understand what's going on. But by the time I'm done shuffling, I already know. I already got the answer to that. And the cards are going to, show me how to work that answer. But yeah, if you're just doing the standard textbook meanings of the cards, you're doing parlor tricks. That's not psychic work at all.
And I'll give you all a secret. That's how we know if you're real or fake. If you're just regurgitating book knowledge, that's how the real psychics know that you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just, we read that book. We know exactly where you're getting that from.
Yeah. But literally, I think it's a free app on the App Store. It's the Rider-Waite fucking tarot app. If you're gonna, you can sit there and do that for your clients, make money.
You were talking about astrology earlier. Do you do astrology readings?
I do, yeah. I do it from a psychology point of view. I'm not horary. I'm not great at predicting people's events in their lives in the future through astrology. I do it in another medium. But for me, I use astrology as a personality development. Getting people to understand their weaknesses and also the strengths that are inherent in them. And it can go on forever. I have people so I do them in half-an-hour sessions, and people will book session after session after session to go deeper and deeper and deeper into things. Because you could talk about your one planet placement for a couple hours, So it just depends on where people want. But I do have people who just keep going with it because it goes deeper and deeper. I'm very traditional. I don't put a big emphasis on Neptune or Pluto, other than generational. I don't really consider Lilith and Chiron as big things that matter. I'm very I'm just that kind of person, right? I'm one of those people who puts more weight in ancient knowledge than modern knowledge, whether that's right or wrong.
Do you do yods?
Thank you. Do I do what? I'm sorry.
Yods or yachts? People pronounce them differently.
Yod, like
it's like, I don't know the
node. Is it a node? I'm hearing
like when two planets are sextile to each other, and then they point to one.
Oh, sure.
It's kind of rare, yeah.
I read most of the time. I'm only reading major aspects.
Okay.
I'm not. It's very rare I'll get that far in anyone's chart, to be quite honest with you, because there's just so much to say before that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I would do it if we got that far. I just don't think that that's usually the case. Like most people are gonna be.
Well, not everybody even has one in their chart.
It's right.
Yeah.
So when you're getting that deep, sure. My answer is sure. I would do it, but most of the time I'm not. That's just the truth.
Yeah, it's a kind of a rare thing, those, right? And she's got like 2 of them.
Do you? That's cool. That's cool.
And a grand trine and air.
Yeah. She does too. Marcy has a Do you have a No. You have a whatever the other one's called, where all the planets are in the same.
Or a T-square, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked at her chart in a long time.
There's somebody over here making their own deck. I've known nobody to finish a deck.
Like an artist?
I've known several people to finish the major arcana and a couple court cards. I've known like 10 people to start a deck. I've known nobody that finished a deck. Good luck. Good luck to you.
I've known a few.
Really?
I think that I think it's extremely difficult,
Mhm.
and I think the hardest part about it, tarot, is art prompts and actually understanding the art that you're making. Right, like you want it to be relevant to the energy, because really what these are doing are depicting energies. So if you're just using like the Rider-Waite as an art prompt and you're doing whatever you want with it, then you're not really doing anything that's beneficial for the tarot community. But if you can understand the energy and create a new form of art that depicts that energy in a new way for someone to think differently about it, then you're doing something very good for the tarot community as an artist. I don't like all these decks coming out that really don't do anything for me, though. I will say.
And then there's so many oracle decks now.
I don't read Oracle's terrible. So I know that people like Oracle. Oracle has no historic value. Again, I'm someone who's very traditional in their thinking. Oracle does not go back in history. It's very woo-woo, very new age. I'm not someone who prescribed to any of that. Oracle is a set of cards from the creator that is whatever they want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's it. Right? So you're reading out of someone's mind that has no basis in anything whatsoever. I highly recommend you don't read Oracle. Start on a tarot deck. Because it's
ever read playing cards?
No. I wish I was more into cartomancy, but I'm not good at it. Or rather, I haven't really tried enough. But I know a bit about it. I would never read with them at my current state of knowledge, though.
Yeah, I think I read a book about it, but I haven't really done that either. I used to have the Gypsy Witch Fortune deck, which that's a bad word now. I created my own form of heart and time reading for my great grandmother. Well, yeah, there's a million ways to do divination. There was even one when I was a kid. You pick a finger for yes and a finger for no, and you put them on your school desk while you're taking your test, and you ask it the question, and one twitches. The subconscious is always involved in divination. I see a lot of people out here on TikTok with pendulums, and they'll buy something to suspend the pendulum for them over the thing. I was taught that your subconscious is, and your fingers are supposed to move, just not consciously. And you do it over a pulse point too. So I don't know how you can facilitate that. So you get a lot of people with their, just looking at a pendulum that's not fucking moving. Or if it does move, there's a breeze through the damn room or something, or you got an earthquake happening. You're in California or something. I guess lots of people have earthquakes these days, but yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. So that heart thing, that sounds interesting. As a practitioner of 35 years, gotta say it was nice to listen to folk that know what they're saying. Well, hey, tune in to Widdershins. We're gonna be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central and 40 Central. I forget who's on.
Jim says 1.
Wow, you were very helpful.
Yeah, and Christine Stevens is at 5:30.
First time having Christine Stevens over. We're probably going to get out of here pretty soon and have some fucking pizza. That's kind of the plan. The guests come over. We're going to drink in front of you, but we're not going to eat pizza in front of you. My God. But this is Widdershins, a bunch of witches sitting around. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're somewhere else. But we just talk about craft and shit. Sometimes we talk about crazy shit going on. Christian Day's trying to find a free day this week. He wants to come on suddenly to talk about, fuckery. And that's always good. We totally do fuckery. We've covered witch wars and gossip, and once upon a time we were called the Jerry Springer of witchcraft.
You were gonna get like one of those bells.
We
to
did
ring.
that.
Oh yeah, that's
It was
right. That's right.
you guys on I think it was VK Venom over here on TikTok. These two guys were going to have this fight, and they're on YouTube, and it was kind of like, how boxers have that thing where they talk shit to each other. It was like that. They were doing these videos back and forth, and they're going to meet up in this public park, and they're going to brawl. And we had, I think it was them. It was them or hey, Mojo. Yeah, it's a cat. You have a cat too. Don't treat your cat like that. But we had that, and so we had them on, and I found the boxing bell like Jerry Springer had. Every time they'd start going at it, I'd ring the bell. It was funny as fuck. We don't have those sound effects anymore, I don't think. Good evening to you.
Hey.
All right. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I want to eat some pizza.
Yeah, I think
That sounds good.
You're right on time.
We've covered the stuff. I don't want to talk too much about the workshop because you got to pay.
Yeah.
You got to pay.
You gotta come check it out.
Get over there to witchcon.com. If you can't conjure up $95, man, you quit your bitching, quit your wishing, start your witching. Get over there to YouTube, find my To Hide a Sigil in Plain Sight. You get the money magnet sigil. It's been pre-charged for 15 years. Every person that looks at it, every person that uses it, it generates energy every time. So even if you're not an advanced practitioner, get over there to YouTube. On TikTok, it's easy. There's a little play button under my profile. Look at To Hide a Sigil in Plain Sight. And maybe conjure up that money tonight. And then we'll see you at WitchCon. And then start conjuring some more money, because then Hexfest is coming. We'll probably do another fucking marathon or something. All right. Yeah. Poppa Capp, and your other name. No, we're not taking other guests. Quit asking me.
Mato.
Thanks for coming on. And for all the rest of you all, as I always say in these situations, as our ancestors used to say, to remind us of the troubled times through which we've come, and the breadcrumb trail that they left for you to follow in the ways. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again, y'all. And